Welcome to another edition of KHQA's Financial Friday. We are joined once again by Jeff Kennedy of the Kennedy Wealth Group, and today we're talking about investing for retirement. Now, Jeff, first of all, welcome back to the show.
Thanks, Steve.
Always glad to have you with us. What advice do you have for people who are planning to save for retirement?
Well, generally, I'd say if you're planning for a long-term goal such as retirement, you consider a tax-favored plan, such as one offered by an employer, 401k, 403b, or maybe an individual plan like an IRA or a Roth. I find that these plans are often underutilized in talking with folks, and even for those people who are using them, they don't completely understand them or what the consequences of those decisions down the road, decades from now perhaps. So I like to help them understand those options going in the door.
Which is the best one to use?
Of course, that depends on your situation, but of course I would recommend if your employer, and this is very generic advice, but if your employer offers a match, take it.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So to the extent that your employer is being generous to offer that, definitely save as much of your income pre-tax as you can to get there. But no more than that, I recommend. I would say after that, you should begin funding an individual plan on the outside, simply because most employers' plans are designed basically to be fairly simple to meet the needs of everyone in the employee base. And so there's only a few asset classes in there, stocks and bonds and cash, and maybe if you're lucky, some real estate. And so you don't have a lot of investment options, whereas on the outside in an individual account, you have more opportunity to get access to all the asset classes.
Are we talking about like an IRA? Is that the kind of thing we're talking about?
Yes, an IRA or perhaps a Roth, if that might better suit your needs. And of course, those are just two of the many types of individual plans that are available. But they're the most popular, the difference being how the distributions are treated tax-wise when they come out. A traditional IRA, people like to get that deduction this year, but of course it defers the taxes to some point in the future, and your taxes might be higher there. So if you think your taxes are going to be higher in the future, you may want to consider the Roth option, simply because it gives you more control over your tax situation in the future.
Okay, well, you know, Jeff, we haven't even made an investment decision yet. We've already got a lot of information here. What investments do you actually recommend for us to do?
Yeah, that is a lot to consider. What I'd say generically is things have changed in the last few years. You know, investment options that only used to be available to the big money managers, the institutions, the ultra rich, so to speak, have become available now to the individual investors. So do your homework, search those out so that you can get true diversification. Don't settle for generic asset allocation with stocks and bonds and cash. There are a lot of other ones out there that can help you diversify so that 10 years from now you're not looking back and saying, well, I'm almost back to where I was, but I've lost those 10 years.
Okay, very good. So do some homework.
Yes,
Doesn't
absolutely.
hurt. Let's talk about next week. What are we talking about next week?
Well, a big topic for a lot of young parents I talk to is I got to start saving for kids' college. We'll talk about some options there.
All right, fantastic. As always, Jeff, great to have you with us here.
Yep.
Don't forget, we always put all of Jeff's interviews on our website, KHQA's YouTube page, so you can check those out there. And we'll be back with more news right after this.